This is sort of a test to see if it works here. Yeah, we're gonna go for a little walkie walk. Maybe we'll see something, but we probably won't. We got some birds. Okay. I honestly have not gone live in months, and I kind of wanted to see if it still worked, which I guess it does. You can see some hay bales here. This property is owned by the state of Massachusetts. It's all public land, the wildlife management area. They do have haying in here. They do occasionally do some cutting. But yeah, there's some birds. Some Tweety birds. This is sort of an experiment to see if it works out here. I mean, I'm unemployed. I got nothing else to do. You look for deer tracks, I guess. Could do that. Yeah. It's done doing that kind of New England thing where the weather just kind of changes suddenly. Not very stable weather. It was sunny. It rained this morning. It stopped. It was sunny. It was nice again. Rained again. This has actually been cut since I lived here. I've moved back to this area from Japan. Um, so I guess while I was living in Japan, they cut in here. This used to all be kind of small trees, but it's good. They kind of do actively cut to keep diverse environments in here. Very popular place for pheasant hunting, actually. So lots of people come in here to pheasant hunt during the pheasant season. Yeah, a lot of it was just this stuff, and then they cut. So now it's that thicker, newer stuff. There's also the fields. So on one side, they have this woods that they kind of rotate and cut through every so often. And then over here, just kind of plain open field. I think they do haying in here. I haven't been here in the autumn in a long time. I mean, those of you that follow this channel know I've only moved to the United States from Japan a few months ago. Yeah, it was a lot of this types of stuff. I assume there's deer in here. People have seen deer in here. That was years ago. Kind of got a nice variety of habitat. Grouse used to be a lot of grouse in here, but grouse have taken quite a bit of a beating, from my understanding. It's just not as many grouse as there used to be here. It's just hard. Woodcock seem to stop here during their migration. Yeah, this used to all be really tangly, kind of nasty, briary stuff in here. But it's grown up now. Did a lot of bird hunting here as a kid. Teenager. Teenager's pretty much a kid, right? I'm in my 30s, so they feel like kids. Damn kids. Yeah, that's what we're up to. Glad somebody liked my impression of being old. These kids and their TikTok and their social media. Yeah, TikTok I was never able to get into. Some of it is maybe compared to like Instagram, which I'm very familiar with. Just never felt like I got traction on TikTok. Like twice I tried TikTok, it felt like I was really just screaming into the void more than most social media sites. Getting here, the stuff's all kind of grown up thick. See over there, that's the fields. That one hasn't been mowed or cut recently. Here's some birds. I don't know if you guys can hear the birds. Can you hear the birds? It's weird because I feel like during when it's not hunting season, it feels like nobody comes here. So this is one part of when I miss it. A bit of tree damage here. Let's see, can I still find the trail? I cut left. I haven't been in here in years. It was somewhere around here. Oh, I think I found it. Not as visible as it used to be. Which I think what happens is during hunting season, some of these trails just get used more and then they remain visible for a while. And then in the spring, they just kind of get grown over like this. Hey, chat, let me know if you see a shed. This back in here, because it gets a little wet, used to be really good with cot cover. I'm not even sure how good the connection is for you guys. It'd be horrible. This is like 14, 15-year-old information, but it used to nicely. Nope, not anymore. Used to kind of nicely open up in here. And here's a trail. Not quite where I remember it being. Yeah, kind of, sort of. So it used to be, it looks like it's pretty much gone. There used to be a trail going along here, which paralleled that really thick stuff in here from the cutting, the more recent cutting, because this is obviously has not been cut in quite a while. So this is older, I wouldn't call it old growth, I call it older growth versus kind of from here over is the stuff that's cut more frequently. All right, cool. Let's extradite ourselves and see if we can't get along back to the main trail. We'll go through. It's not quite a pond, puddle, vernal pool, maybe. I think there's a vernal pool up here. Maybe still. Like I said, I haven't really hiked and explored around here. I'm in Massachusetts at a place called Winnemisset Meadows in the United States. So I was looking for an old trail. I used to spend a lot of time out here. This used to be a regular place I went. Looks like the old trail I was looking for has grown over. Could only find remnants of it. So we're going to head back to the main trail. I used to find a lot of porcupines in here, actually. It is fun. I recently moved back to the United States, so it's been a lot of re-exploring, rediscovering places. So, 15 years about, you're going to have a lot of growth, and also they actively cut in here and they actively manage it for wildlife. It's a wildlife management area. So things change. Feels thicker. But yeah, the old trail seems to well, maybe in the autumn it'll be visible. Because this is part of the old trail right here. But then it kind of fades out in there. For better or for worse. Ah, we're back on the main trail. They used to be, maybe I'm just not seeing them. Maybe they've moved. Maybe they're just not very visible this time of year. There used to be quite a few kind of small sub trails off of this one. Here's squirrels. Here birds. We came through with a dog. At least I hope it's a dog, because that'd be kind of on the larger size for a coyote. Not that I'm not discounting that there might be large male coyotes. The ones I always see are probably young. They look scrawny. Watching somebody's shotgun shell. Another one. We're gonna pick these up just to clean up the place. I had a friend once who he wouldn't pick them up because he was worried about like the legality of that because he didn't have a firearms license. Which I don't think that you'd get in trouble for that, but who knows? It might be a case of, yeah, legally they could jam you up on it, but they're not likely to. Who knows? I'm not a lawyer. I took one law class in school. It was on contract business law. What's that? Might be something over there. That was think I can't test for the connection here, but there were a vernal pool up here. See the brake lines in the fields. Not thoroughly check myself for ticks after this. Yeah, so these are the fields that they keep pretty well cut. They become cover because they let them get a little tall right before the bird season. This is a big place for bird hunting. Pheasants. They stock pheasants here. Um, I've seen grouse in the past, like 15 years ago, but it's hard to say. I know grouse numbers are down pretty bad. Seen lots of woodcock, but that depends mostly on their migration. Because, well, they're migratory. You can see like a lot of New England, the walls continue into the forest. So Massachusetts was pretty well clear cut. It was a pretty early part of the what's now the United States to be settled. It would have been England back then. And most of the land was cut. There wasn't a lot of forest land for quite a while. So deer actually became quite rare out here. One of the big things was sheep. So as the Industrial Revolution came along, started building factories, New England became important for textile production. Massachusetts had big textile productions. There's actually a skeleton of a textile mill still not that far from here. So they needed wool. So sheep farming became a huge business, producing that wool that would be used to make wool clothing. And then the other key crop, which you couldn't grow here though, was cotton. So cotton was grown more in the, is that a grouse? Oh, sorry, where was I? Cotton was grown more in the southern part of the United States, not up here. Up here it was wool. So lots of land was just turned into sheep pastures. Land to be used for raising sheep. The sheep would be sheared, their hair taken off. That'd be turned into wool clothing, textiles. However, kind of interestingly, and maybe I need to research and find out why, mutton and lamb did not become big New England foods as far as I can tell now. This could be like recency bias of they were, but they stopped being, especially as infrastructure became better, trains connected more of the country, and you could ship beef more places. Maybe people did eat lots of shit. Ooh, ooh. Nearly knocked off the gimbal. Maybe people did eat a lot of sheep in New England. I just don't know about it because as infrastructure became better, beef became easier to get, drove down the price of beef. So beef became more popular and displaced sheep. And, you know, sheep, the big money maker isn't their meat, it's the wool. Less wool demand, less reason to keep sheep. Other random thought, since we're here in a place where they stock lots of pheasants during hunting season. Pheasants must not really not do well here. For the number they stock, there just does not seem to be a native population. Like they don't survive through the winter. Not sure why. Probably something to do with type of cover. The coyotes, the predators get them because pheasants are not native to the United States. But in some parts of the United States, the Dakotas, parts of Montana, Nebraska, I think that part of the United States, they have pheasant populations that are basically wild and self-sustaining, as in introduced, invasive, whatever you'd like to call it, species. Huh. I thought there was a pool here. Must be further up. Vernal pool, not like a swimming pool. All right, let's just go through this break in the stone wall. There, now this is some older growth, which is nice and more open. Easier to walk in. I'm not sure what type of animal made those tracks. Let's just keep going. Maybe we'll find some. Could be deer. Pre-retirement days. How are you doing? Just out for a walk in a local wildlife management area. I haven't really been out here much in 15 years, so I'm just kind of figuring out what it looks like now. Ooh, mushrooms. There used to be, I don't know, like I've seen deer in here. So up, you go that way. There's actually, once you get out of the wildlife management area, there's actually a farm up there. And, they have your normal stuff, cows, goats, sheep, but they also have a deer farm. So sometimes we've seen deer near them, wondering if the males, you know, smell the females during that time of year and get a little excited. Hello, welcome back. We're now in a different section, kind of wet section. Actually, a ton of activity here. So, bitten by what? Ticks, yeah. Mosquitoes, yes. Snakes, no. Birds, no. Bear, no. I did spot a bear near here a few days ago, while I was driving. They're around, but they're around. Supposedly, there's more of them now than there used to be. If you get on like, because small towns in the United States have to be a little petty, there's multiple Facebook groups for the town. There's actually a tower. Um, if you go up that way, maybe half a mile, a little higher up, there's actually a cell phone tower up there. So there's a cell phone tower up at the top to kind of give service to the whole area because it's a valley on this side and it's a valley on this side. So to get service to both valleys, they built a cell phone tower up at the top, and I'm pretty sure that's what I'm getting my signal off of. Um, I was kind of curious how well I would actually get signal here, though. I think if I went to other areas, it would not be as good. Oh yeah, it's just tower placement is what makes a big deal in a lot of these areas. There's another place I fish and hike a lot where, like, you can't even send a text message in that valley because it's a kind of a steep V. Like it's shaped like one side down, full, and then very steep. That valley, you just cell phones don't work. They probably never. You'd have to build a tower specifically for it for them to work. They just don't. Um, but it's a great place to go fishing. Yeah, I'd love to get over to the UK. I was watching this video of people hiking in Scotland and it just looks beautiful. I'm just using my phone. I think that it's a little bit lack of signal that's making things blurry. I kind of wanted to know what it would look like. Oh, there we go. Which is part of why I'm doing this. There's the vernal pool. Yeah, I used to do quite a bit of live streams when I lived in Japan at Orai, and because at Orai Port they have such good reception, um, I would just go live with my GoPro and it would work pretty well. Here I'm just using a phone and a gimbal. All right, so here we have a vernal pool. So a vernal pool basically being a small seasonal pool that is used a lot by frogs, amphibians, not so much fish because most years it'll dry up in summer. They just call it a vernal pool. Years ago, through a friend, I actually met somebody who's doing their PhD on vernal pools in Massachusetts. They were studying in Harvard Forest, which is, I'd love to live stream there, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work at all um, because it's more out there. Yeah. Harvard Forest is a cool place. I think I did a video years ago about the Fisher Museum, which is the museum at Harvard Forest Museum. I actually applied to work there. I got rejected. It's too bad. Harvard Forest is a nice place though. It's quite a bit of conservation property that's been locked up. It's owned by Harvard University, so they're never going to sell it. They will have no issues in the foreseeable future paying their bills. This section's kind of wet, so I think best way to do this. Oh yeah, in the salamander. So in the autumn, we have the woodcock come through since they're migratory, and they love hanging out around these vernal pools because they've started to fill up again in autumn. Yeah. Well, the thing also is that it's the pretty much the middle of a workday in the US. So anybody who's a US subscriber is probably at work. And subscribers from Japan are probably asleep. So sort of an odd time. There'll be other times where I'm planning to uh I'll try to live stream at better times for people to watch. This is kind of a little bit of an experiment, and also because I just moved back to the United States and I don't have a job, so I got nothing going on really. So I can try to just hop on whenever. Also, there's this thing with YouTube, even if you look at people who are more successful YouTubers, one of my coworkers was, where there's like this ratio thing of, you have X subscribers, X minus Y subscribers will watch your new content, X minus Y plus Z of these people that don't know you that aren't subscribed will watch. Yep. Yeah, it's 2:42 where I am. Yeah, let's go through this part. This is not as soggy as I thought it would be. Yeah, so the water from up there, the vernal pool's right there, kind of soaks down through here. And then if it's really wet, like early spring, this will almost be like another vernal pool. But this one's dried out, much smaller one. Yeah. Yeah, 2:40 in the afternoon that's your target market, not the time to stream. About 30 minutes, which I think is part of why for live streaming, you'll see a lot of non-outdoor content because it's almost, well, actually, you could do like morning fishing or weekend fishing, um, or hiking, camping, but like middle of the day content is hard. There's quite a few mushrooms. I'm not good with my mushroom species. I don't think you can eat that one, and I don't think it'll give you visions. Those are terrifyingly, for toxicology departments, not always mutually exclusive. There's this one in Russia, northern Japan, that it is a mushroom. It's psychedelic, so people go and take it sometimes, and it's toxic. So, yeah, that causes problems because people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go take this mushroom, fly algae. It's red with white dots. Shows up in the Mario games. I'm gonna go take this mushroom and see stuff." Like, all right, great for you. What are you gonna do about the toxin inside of it? Hmm. Well, this has grown up quite a bit. Beautiful though. There's actually another, a bigger pond. That's a true pond, because it doesn't dry up under normal conditions. Right in there, ducks like it. So you see a lot of ducks in there. I'm kind of off the main. I'm in the fields. Some of these get a lot of milkweed too. Man, can I find you a milkweed to show you guys? I'll stop the job, dandelion. Oops, nothing to eat right now either. There's, that's late. I don't know a ton of edible plants. I know a few, and it's at the point of year where none of them are at the point to eat. They're either too early or too late. A lot of them grow kind of bitter. Nanahana. I used to eat a lot of nanahana in Japan. We'd go pick it and eat it, saute it with a little bit of garlic. Huh, no milkweed. Robin. Let's take a quick look down. All right. Hey, Bells. No, 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 no. Maybe the field we skipped. That's probably where it is. We'll take a quick peruse down there. I've pretty much done the loop, done the whole loop. Let's see. That one's too late to eat. What animal's been using this? Deer, maybe? There are actually quite a few deer in this area. Some of it is because there's enough agriculture and land. Some of it is there's enough agriculture and land clearing still going on. Bumblebee, 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 bumblebee. Yeah, let's check the next field for weed. I wouldn't be surprised. There's turkeys in here too. The agricultural land's close enough, forests, places they can scourge. They don't love this tall grass though. It's kind of hard to say. They might be hanging out in the woods by by the farm up there. Oh, this looks biologically right. There's a dead one. There's a dead milkweed. There's a few actually in here. So this is already dead. A milkweed. So milkweed, um, they're going to start to come up soon in the summer. They're going to have these green pods. In the autumn, they turn dry. These pods break open, and their seeds kind of look like snow because they have the little black seed, and then on it they have white hairs, and that's so the wind will take them and blow them around. This field in particular gets a lot of milkweed. So if you come here at like the right time and it's a windy day, it kind of looks like a snowstorm with all the white milkweed seeds with their hairs flying around. Yeah, we kind of skipped over this field actually. Because I went into the woods and followed a different trail. I'm in no rush. Yeah. Probably not much more to find here that I haven't pointed out already. Maybe next time. I'm not sure if I'll have enough connection to stream at some of the other parts of this uh, management area. This section's just always had good good quote unquote cell phone reception. Good for a wildlife management area due to that tower being so close. Let's see. I skipped this one too. Not much to say. This field's pretty similar. They let it get a little brushy management. They stock pheasants in here. I've seen a turkey actually in here once, maybe 20 years ago. I do think the more I think about the turkeys in this place, the more I would think that they wouldn't be regulars here. They would be up higher near the farms. There, we'll turn around and finish the loop. Yeah, they cut this stuff recently, but left the bigger trees. Recently being a few years. Oh, fresh cut. You can see some of the birch in there. Those are birch. So birch can have God, what's the name of that? Birch are, you can see from these ones, mushrooms grow on them a lot. There's one specific mushroom that is really popular as like a folk medicine. Chaga. The chaga mushroom. So the chaga mushroom will grow on birch sometimes, and it doesn't look like a traditional mushroom. It's kind of a darker burr like thing, and it'll grow off the birch, and people will harvest it, dry it, turn it into tea. And the idea behind it is it's supposed to have good positive effects on your immune system. Um, Supposed to help fight, reduce, limit cancer, things like that. Um, so yeah, that's become a business. That's become more popular. This is a little south for chaga. Chaga generally grows further north. So north of here, I know Vermont, Canada, parts of New Hampshire, Maine in the United States, Aomori, Hokkaido, um, I assume Russia too, in Asia. I assume Russia, but I don't know. I don't want to say yes, and then somebody point out like, "Oh no, it doesn't pass Sakhalin Island," and be like, "Oh well, I'm a fool." I guess if it's in Sakhalin, I could be pedantic and be like, "Well, it's an island, but it's part of Russia, just not mainland Russia." Let's head back. She wants me to buy her monkeys. I'm gonna do that. Actually, even just for a walk, this says it wouldn't be a bad down and back for a lot of people. Ooh, some type of bird. I have a game trail in there. Wonder what's been passing through. I don't see any tracks. It's kind of too hard on the ground here for tracks. But yeah, something's been passing through there. Probably just wants access to the fields, or it's going from one field to the other. So during pheasant season, at least, maybe other season, this is a pretty well used wildlife management area. So I wonder for, the people that live around these, it's probably a bit like a rail trail. You either love it or hate it. Ooh, chipmunk. I don't think I got it on screen for you guys. There's a rail trail not far from here. I know that was a little contested, testy. People were not exactly thrilled about it going in. But I'm hoping the one that's going in close to my house will lead all the way to the one that's close to my friend's house so that it makes my life easier of getting there. I can just bicycle. I don't have to drive or walk, have a few drinks, make the walking home way easier if I had a few drinks. But yeah, here we are. Ugh. Should read up on Williard's surprise and try to do a video here where it's claimed to happen. It's disputed exactly where Williard's surprise happened. This was a pretty early battle in Metacomet's War, the King Philip War. And it happened somewhere around here. I think the general accepted academic explanation now is that it happened further downhill from here. Yeah. That's just about 45 minutes. Actually, it's a little more than 45 minutes. I did also stop and look at stuff and explain stuff to the camera. So yeah, I guess normally it would have been 45-ish minutes. This used to be a house here, actually. So here, let's kind of crawl in here. You can see the foundation. House, farmhouse. Not 100% sure what, but there used to be. There's quite a few if you look around for them in New England, this part of Massachusetts. The foundations of old. This might have been a mill, not a. Actually, you know what? I think this was a mill. Now I'm looking at not a house. Yeah, become a pool. That actually was a really big building. You can find lots of leftovers, structures, and stuff. That's kind of like what I talked about earlier of pretty much all of Massachusetts was cut down, turned into farmland of various types. And so there isn't a lot of like old growth, quotation marks, in Massachusetts is not really that old. Most of it was just maybe only cut once. They stopped cutting it earlier. But there's also that balance between cutting old growth, conservation. But yeah. Wouldn't miss it. Wildlife management area. Or, ooh, There goes a chip. Or some people call it upper when I miss it. Let's say dogs must be on leash, all that fun stuff. Anyways, everyone, I hope you enjoyed it. I've reached the 50-minute mark, and it is time for me to call it a day. So, everyone, thank you for your time. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on our next adventure.